It's time we address that four-letter word, sell. Welcome, my friends, to the Bohica edition of the Market Like a Man podcast. It's April 15th, 2015, and if you were not in the military, you may not know what Bohica means, but it stands for bend over, here it comes again. And being a great father that I am, father of 7, I thought I would teach my kids a lesson about taxes today. And so nothing really sinks in like this experiential learning. So what I did was I woke them up early. So I let them only get 70% of their normal sleep. I fed them 30% less breakfast. I only drove them 70% of the way to school. Then I only gave them 70% of their lunch money. And so with that remaining 30%, I threw 29% of it down the gutter in the street. I gave a penny to a homeless man, and I saw a veteran, an active duty military person, waiting for the bus, and I promised him a pay raise soon if he would vote for me next year. And so that, my friends, is how I taught my kids about tax day. D.C. lives on, well, I don't even say live. It accumulates, and it tries to live on $3 trillion, $20 billion a year. And I think it's actually more than that, but that was the budget last year. That's $9,470.05 from every person in the U.S. If you broke that down monthly, that's $789.17 per month. You can lease a 2015 BMW 550i Gran Turismo for $10 a month less than you're getting milked in taxes. And that's just the federal government. It doesn't count state taxes. We're talking about your mortgage taxes and county and, sales tax. That's just the federal government. Okay? If you pay $49 a month more, you can lease a Tesla. So let me ask you something. Is DC giving you BMW or Tesla type service every month? Okay, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. So how much do you deserve to keep? How much do your kids deserve to keep? So think about that when you look at your paycheck. Think about that when you're paying your taxes. Think about that when it comes time to vote. Okay, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm just going to tell you, as an entrepreneur, if you're listening to this, you need to keep more of your own money. So look at those candidates, okay? And this goes back over 100 years. This goes back to the founding of our country, right? No taxation without representation. We were getting jerked around, and we fought for better representation. We were tired of being milked dry to feed the behemoth back overseas. Well, now the behemoth is here in our border in D.C. But Calvin Coolidge, he talked about this. He talked about how he says, these are some of the reasons why I want to cut down public expense. So he was talking about just how big government was. And back then, it was $7.5 billion. Okay, now we're over $3 trillion. Okay, he says, I want the people of America to be able to work less for the government and more for themselves. I want them to have the rewards of their own industry. This is the chief meaning of freedom. Okay, so don't take my word for it. Listen to Calvin Coolidge, listen to Ben Franklin, listen to George Washington. That's why we do what we do. Okay, you as a business owner owe it to yourself, and if you are in a public company, you owe it to your shareholders to return the maximum amount of value to them and to yourself. That is all you owe. So it's all the rage right now. There's this dude, he's a younger guy, he's got a successful company. He's talking about cutting his pay and giving everybody in the company a minimum of a $70,000 a year salary. Okay, mail clerk, everybody. And so that sounds fantastic in theory. Let's see how this works out. Because if I'm a sales guy with a base pay of $70,000, if I'm an engineer, okay, with advanced degrees, and I'm working hard for this guy, and I'm getting paid $70,000, if the receptionist is now making 70 grand, I'm going to look around and say, you know what? Why am I working so hard? Right? Why am I studying journals and keeping my credentials up, right, with continuing education? Why am I traveling the country, going to conferences to stay abreast of changes in the industry when I can make the same amount of money, show up at 9, get an hour lunch, leave at 5:30 or 6, take no work home with me, and when the phone's not ringing, I can flip through issues of Cosmopolitan and National Enquirer. So, it sounds good in theory, but look, you need to contribute to society and get paid according to the value you give, okay? Your bank account is merely a visible representation of the good or bad choices you've made in your life, okay? That is it. So this guy going about doing this, let's see what happens. So some people are motivated and they're excited about it, but the rest, I don't know. I saw a guy on Twitter, he said, if McDonald's paid everybody $15 an hour, it would only raise the cost of a Big Mac by 68 cents. So, okay, then let's follow that logic. Why not pay everybody $30 an hour, right? That would only raise the cost of a Big Mac by $2.04. Why not pay them $60 an hour? I mean, where does it stop? It just makes no sense. So it's your job, again, as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, to maximize your sales, to maximize your income, your revenue, and you do that by selling something. So how do you sell something? It's really quite easy. You ask better questions. You listen completely. You only answer the questions that you've been asked. You confirm that you've answered the question by asking, does that answer your question? Then you ask another good question. Because remember, whoever is asking the questions is in charge of the conversation. So when you show up for a sales appointment, are you showing up to pitch and to present? Are you bringing demos? Are you bringing a PowerPoint presentation? Are you bringing fancy full-color brochures, okay, which basically makes you just a traveling monkey? Or are you showing up to disqualify the prospect? Okay, and what I mean by that is, are you asking great questions to really determine if this person is a fit, if they truly have a need for what you sell? It's just like an attorney. Attorneys offer a free consultation, and what they are doing is disqualifying you in that presentation or in that meeting. Okay, you show up and say, hey, I've been injured at work. I understand you take on workers' comp claims. Yes, I do. Come on in. And when you show up, that attorney is going to grill you. Tell me about how long have you worked there? What was your performance evaluations like? Were you ever put on a performance plan, right? Were you ever notified that your work was subpar? Did you ever fail a drug test? Do you ever have any DUIs? Have you ever been arrested? Okay, they're going to go on and on and on, because if you have any dirt in your background, if you have anything that might bring up suspicion, even if this is a legitimate workers' comp claim, if they can't prove it, if they can't win it, they're not going to take the case. And you need to do the same thing with your prospects. You need to show up thinking that it's not going to be a fit, and you make that prospect convince you to take their money, right? And it sounds kind of crazy. But, case in point, I do a lot of work with Infusionsoft, okay? But I literally tell more people no, tell them it's not a fit for them than I say it is a fit for, okay? Because I have numbers to live up to as a certified partner. If I have more than a 20% cancellation rate, I could lose my license, okay? They could remove my certification. And so I can't just be pushing and cramming this stuff down people's throat. Okay, I'm talking with them. Even to do a free consultation, I say, tell me the top 3 things you want to discuss. Okay, and I'm asking them hard questions about their business. What are you using now? What is making you consider a change? Do you have the aptitude and the desire to commit 90 days of hard work to convert everything over, to import your contacts, to create processes, to attend, private one-on-one sessions, to do the homework that we assign? Will you show up to the live calls? You get 2 live calls a month when you order from me, group calls. So are you committed to showing up to those, asking questions, taking notes? Because if not, I'm like, this isn't for you. And I have other software that I recommend down to Aweber for $1 startup and $19 a month. So you really can apply this to any part of your business. Now, I'm not saying you go in like with an attitude, right? You're not showing up holier than thou, trying to make things happen, but you are asking hard questions to make sure that the people understand what they're getting into, to make sure that they understand themselves, the ramifications, the true issues they face, and you make them quantify it. When they can put a dollar value on their issue, and as long as your solution is less than the pain they're experiencing, it's a no-brainer to do business with you. Okay, case in point here with we got solar on our home a little over a year ago. So, our bills could be as low as $150 a month. They could be over $400 a month, okay, depending on the time of year. Actually, Christmas, it really goes up because we have a lot of lights. But I know through work that I've done over the years in this area that, the electricity rates keep going up. SoCal Edison is asking for rate increases, and so they're going to keep going up. And so looking at the solar and the monthly rate that we could lock in to really have free electricity, right? Have a zero bill from the electric company, that the pain of making that payment for 12 years was less than the pain of paying the electric bill every month and knowing that the rate would increase. Okay, so obviously, if I was going to spend more on solar than I would save, it would be foolish to do that. So you need to help your prospects quantify their pain. And a lot of them don't even realize they have that pain, or they don't realize how severe it is and what it's costing them, which is why you must ask questions. You cannot tell somebody that they have chest pain, that they have clogged arteries, right? That they have shortness of breath. They have to tell you, yes, it hurts. Yes, it hurts when I breathe deeply. Yes, I've had trouble sleeping. Yes, I'm falling asleep at work, right? Or whatever. The patient has to tell you the symptoms that they're experiencing. You have to ask the questions and diagnose to get to the heart of the matter. How you like that? A little pun there. Get to the heart of the matter to truly understand the issue. That's when the sale becomes easy. When you ask the right questions, when you ask great questions that the prospect cannot answer. Just last week I was on a demo call. I was actually the prospect. I've got a company that sells some software and they want me to become an affiliate to use the software and sell it for them. And the guy doing the demo would not shut up. I would ask a question, and before I could finish asking the question, he would assume he knew what it was and would just start clicking around and doing demos and changing screens. And it just wore my butt out. Fortunately, it's software I'm familiar with, at least the industry, and I could piece together the answers. But I would literally have to interrupt him, and say, "No, that's not what I'm asking. Here's what I mean when I ask that question." Okay, yeah, let me go back. And men especially, we are the worst at this. We just want to fix things, right? You've got to listen to the entire question, and you have to ask more questions to truly, fully understand the question that is being asked and the reasons behind it before you can answer the question. Okay? And even then, you need to give the minimum answer. And the goal is to elicit a response from the prospect that says, "Wow, that's interesting. Tell me more." Okay? When I was in the Air Force, I would have to do weather briefings. I was a meteorologist. And so my goal was to make a great impression on the pilots by only telling them what they needed to hear. Okay, and what I meant by that is if it was clear in a million, meaning visibility is clear with a million mile visibility, an unlimited deck, we would call it, with sky coverage, overcast. So it's clear in a million. So no problem. Go fly, have fun. Then I would literally show up and say, clear in a million, have fun. Now, even if there was bad weather, say, look, you got limited visibility, we got fog. It's going to be sitting here until about 8 o'clock. The fog is going to lift by 9 a.m. We got overcast skies at 3,000 feet. That'll also clear up at 9. And look for overcast conditions at 30,000 feet. Otherwise, you're good to go. Now, if they wanted to know more detail, all right, hourly winds, hourly visibility, hourly humidity, if they wanted to know alternate landing sites, which we had to know in case there was an issue, in case weather rolled in case they had a mechanical issue, if they wanted to know the weather at the target, okay, I had all of that information, and I knew based on the briefing what to cover. So I would prepare for all of that, but I would give the minimum that I knew they wanted and needed and expected. But I was ready for more. You need to be the same way. Only answer the question being asked. Be prepared to go deeper. But when you finish answering the question, you literally ask the prospect, is that what you were looking for? Does that answer your question? If they say, well, no, I was hoping to know a little bit more. What's the weather at noon? What are the winds at 30,000 feet at 3 p.m.? Okay, I would have that information. I would give it. But I do not assume that the prospect has as much passion or curiosity about the subject matter at hand that I do. So you're going to simply overwhelm and bore the prospects if you go into that much detail without them asking for it. Okay, and it's rare that people want that much detail. So throttle it back, slow it down, only address what you think is relevant, confirm it, and then move on. You will win more sales that way in a shorter amount of time. That's why I always say sell more, faster, at higher margin with less stress and more fun. More fun for you and the prospect because you're not wearing their butts out, okay? So focus on selling. I always say marketing is just selling in print. And I'm seeing a big resurgence, a big interest, renewed interest in selling. People, I think, are worn out with social media and technology. And people realize at the end of the day, there's a human being at the other end of that computer screen and mobile phone screen. There's a human being there that wants to be connected with. Okay? And you cannot make a sale by throwing out some tweets and some Facebook gizmos and ideas. Yeah, sure you can. There are people out there making it happen, but I think they are the exception to the rule. Even Jay Baer, when I had him on my show back in August of 2013, talked about social media is a great way to deepen a relationship. It's harder to make the sale. And even now you're seeing a lot of sponsored posts and things like that. Well, that's pay-per-click. It may be on a social media platform, but that's paid advertising. Okay, so somebody just truly being organic, just sending out some social media shares and making a sale, it's harder and rarer than you think. All right, so stop beating a dead horse. Stop thinking there's something wrong with you because you haven't made those types of sales. Focus on old-fashioned selling. Use social media to find a prospect. Use social media to generate interest. Use social media to drive traffic back to your website where you have great content, where you can then maybe pixel them, right, and then follow them through retargeting to continue showing ads that then brings them back to your site again where they opt in for a contact us, or they call and then schedule a demo, or they come into your place of business. That's where you make the sale, but think of it that way. Think of making the sale to a human being in the old school way. Then your marketing will become clearer. The path you need to take will become more obvious, okay? But embrace the fact that you're selling something. It's not a bad idea. My presentation at Social Media Marketing World, I looked up the origin of selling, and it's a Norwegian word that comes, the root of it means to serve. And I learned from Steve Clark years ago, selling is a calling, serving is its purpose, questioning is the process, and a sale may be the solution. So if you truly have a great offering, if you're truly looking to serve, if you do what you do to help people in your line of work, then don't feel bad about asking hard questions. Don't feel bad about charging a premium price, because that guarantees that you'll stick around, that you can be there and provide good service, because you're not dropping your prices, in that race to the bottom, which is a guaranteed formula for failure, right? Just compare Dell to Apple. Dell raced to the bottom. They are no longer a public company. Yes, they're a success. Yes, they do billions in sales, but look at how it changed and impacted that company. And compare their downward slide to Apple's meteoric rise over the last decade. I mean, it's apples and oranges, right? It's apples and Dells. So keep your prices high. Ask better questions. People will feel like you've listened to them. When they feel listened to and understood, they're going to give you their money. It really is that simple. Now, to help you maximize your selling potential, I've got 3 offers for you. 1 is free. 1 is included with another program, but you've heard them before. If you go visit thesalesagenda.com, you can get the actual sales agenda that I use and have used since 2006 to take control of a selling situation. All right, go get that, put your own logo on it, use it. Use it in print, use it in email to take control of your selling situations. The next is 30-day sales growth. Visit 30daysalesgrowth.com, enter promo code podcast and save $30. That's a self-guided program I've created a couple of years ago that incorporates everything that I teach. Okay. And it's a great way to learn on your own at your own pace. There's videos in there, there's audio, there's PDFs and files you can download to use to grow your sales, okay? Covering everything from networking, ice-breaking questions to ask in a sales situation. So avail yourself of that. And finally, if you're listening to this in mid-April, on April 22nd, I'm launching The Art of the Close. So it's theartoftheclose.guru. I haven't done this since last October. I may do it one more time this year as well, but it's 7 live calls, 7 weeks with me. It's a private Facebook group. You get access to 30-day sales growth as well. When you enroll in the Art of the Close, you get a 60-plus page workbook as a PDF, but you have access to it forever, okay? So when you take this class this time around, the next time I do it forever, you'll be able to jump back in and take it again, okay, at no extra charge. So hop in now, enroll. We're going to start on April 22nd. The calls are at 10 a.m. Pacific. They are recorded, and it's the most affordable way to get help from me. It's live, it's interactive, and it will help you sell more, faster, at higher margin, with less stress and more fun. And I guarantee it. So, hey, thanks for listening. Go out there and sell something, okay? And always remember to sell different.